Yo, I can see you. Can you hear me? Talk there. Not through the thing, giving feedback. I'll put mine on mute. Fun stuff there. As you guys can see,
known in which the body, the muscular system, nervous system, and so forth. And tissue salts relate to that. And I want to say that there's three modalities to a plant. Let's just put it that way. The soul of the plant is held within the oil. The soul of the plant is held within the oil. So we also express and excrete sacred oils within our pineal and pituitary gland. So not to get all esoteric, but this is what the Bible talks about, the honey and the milk. And and there's a lot more to that. So that's the first modality to it, in its nature. And then you get the tissue salts, which are the earth element of the body. And of course, this body is made up of tissue salts and earth elements. And those are related to the zodiac signs. And again, they assist in nourishing and replenishing the body in its specific modalities. So the bones of the body, calcium sulfate and potassium sulfites, and a whole bunch of different ones. So really just dig deep into the tissue salts. Fundamentally, they're there to give you a base level to work from your nourishment and all the remainder. Now, sugars, and I'm sure you'll get into it here in a minute, but people have a misinterpretation of, hey, stay away from sugars if I'm dealing with medical diseases and disharmonies that are going on inside the body, like cancers and fibro and all the rest. But sugar process, definitely you should evidence in how it is we should be controlling our intake of it if we have been having it. And then you get your natural sugars that come from all vegetables, but particularly with fruits. Fruits have glucose, sucrose, and fructose in them, and that is certainly brain fuel, because our brains utilize just from a macro level there. Hope that elaborates the question.
Absolutely, that was phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that. And to the audience, the results of what they each do in the body are potentially quite similar, and we're going to delve into a few of those things now, and I'm going to share the screen with you guys. Etan, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the screen, but what I'd listening directly to us, which we absolutely love, we'd like you to engage with us a little bit. So here is one of the most fundamental parts of what sugar does to the body. So too much sugar in your diet can make your diet high in kilojoules or energy dense, and can contribute to health problems like obesity, diabetes, tooth decay, and obviously a whole lot more. Now, as Etan said, refined or processed sugar provides a quick, simple source of energy, but it contains no other nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. Now, if you're actually looking at sugar, and the studies from Harvard, the studies from Australia University, Deakin University, and what it actually does, and how you need to monitor sugar, where you find sugar, what the difference in sugar is, the quantities, etc. You need to try and find a way to have sugar. Now, I had a good luck, because I was chatting to somebody in the gym now, and they said, well, I'm quite lean, which I am, and it's because I do intermittent fasting. Plus, I know how to hack my own body because I'm a functional biohacking coach. And this is the very important thing for you guys, is to understand small tweaks in the body make a big difference. Okay. So, first of all, bodies are made in the kitchen through your diet, okay, and then they're sculpted in the gym. This is a very important concept to understand. So how does that relate to sugar, and why I'm telling you this story with this person that I had a conversation in the gym? I ended up saying, well, at the end of the day, first of all, I am human, so protein absorption after training is very important. So what are the molecules that protein absorbs to? So sugar, carbohydrates, and fats. So those are the three molecules that really protein attaches itself to, and sometimes sugar just gets the protein there faster sometimes. So with moderation and knowing how to use sugar, and salt, this is how you will benefit from using them. Now, what we're about to tell you isn't meant to scare you, but it is meant to open your eyes, because sugar causes and salt causes, first of all, the worst thing that you probably don't want to hear. It causes aging. You start to see, and it causes different kinds of aging. The sugar causes more aging on internal organs, hydration in excess, of course, and these things are in excess. Now, you can see that sugar causes obesity, diabetes. Sugar is a huge cause of inflammatory illnesses, immune disorders. And where do you find sugar? Well, in soft drinks, sweets, fast foods, carbohydrates. It causes, it's debatable. And as you can see here, this is now a study from Harvard. I'm not sure if you can actually see the screen, but this is cardiovascular is your ability to convert nutrients into energy to continue or spikes of sugar, in this instance, in your body. You're going to one day discharge your body, and your body is going to break down like a car would, and essentially not be able to function well. So sugar weakens your organs, okay, very, very drastically. It causes fat. These calories are considered empty calories, and sugar can raise blood pressure, okay, as we've been saying here. And this is one of the things that you need to look out for when you are reading the labels on your products, okay, because sugar is the of what the sugar contents are. Now, we will touch base in a little moment about things like sugar alcohol, subtracting, sugar added. So you get things like brown sugar, white sugar. You get corn sweetener, corn syrup, fructose concentrates, high fructose corn dextrose, fructose, glucose, lactose, maltose, sucrose. And then you get your sugar alcohols, which are things like Dr. Berg does believe that xylitol is one of the better sugar alcohols. Although personally, I know Ethan and myself and other people that follow very similar maltodextrin, etc., are not healthy for us in any way. Now, with that being said, okay, stevia every day, used every day, does not cause blood sugar. You see that he did a study on it, or there was a study done on it that he shared, that showed of a teaspoon, as an example, in a small glass of water, diluted about 30 minutes before your meal, had from releasing insulin at certain moments where you should not be releasing that insulin in that manner, which is essentially where diabetes onsets from. And once diabetes onsets, guys, it's not a difficult component. So, Etan, talk to us a little bit about sugar, more specifically, while we're speaking on the topic of sugar. Tell us about, where it's very important to realize that sugar actually causes more issues for a person than the benefits of the experience and the flavor that you get. And let us know what benefit one can get from sugar, if any.
And I've got to say, I'm gonna start out in a little bit of a roundabout way. There was a study that was done, just a simple study. You can do it yourself. You can measure your insulin levels in your body, your blood sugar levels in your body before you take a date, and then about 40 minutes later, you could eat a date again. And it's people tend to expect like fruits and whatever, but particularly dates, they are high in sugar, your blood sugar levels. It keeps it moderated. So 3 dates a day is definitely going to help your liver. It's going to help the rest of your system, but it also helps with iron, hair growth, skin health, all kinds of things. So there's this perception about fruits thing. So yes, there's lots of different ways that you could take sugars, and they're natural. Like you said, the xylitol is a more natural form of it. Coconut sugar, Kiara, I definitely believe that you'll get into there. So coconut nectar or blossom, as some people call it. But yes, looping back around to your question, sugar is one of the largest, most used ingredients in all kinds of foods across the world. Okay, fast foods, all you can unknowingly be consuming on a daily basis. So Kiara was saying, hey, read your labels, and if you see sugar in like the top 3 first ingredients, because there's label regulations that have to say, okay, you have to list the largest quantity of your ingredients inside this pack, whatever it is, a hot chocolate or whatever you, and you'll see that sugar most of the time is on top. And the reason for that, and I said it earlier, is that it is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So if it's been put into your food, say the hot chocolate that you get from your local store, wherever, and all of this marketing that goes behind it is one aspect. It breeds familiarity. But taking sugar in draws you back to that product again. It says, okay, I need more of that. I need more of that fix. I need that fix again. And people are so rushed and so busy in their lifestyles these days that they don't even realize it. I mean, in just to keep going. Now, coffee, sugar, and milk, processed milk, are an extremely bad combination, and it can cause heart disease. It could cause liver, pancreatic overdoses, but it's an overstimulant. So what happens is our pineal gland or our brain receives this and we get a spike. We know this, okay? But it's like being in school, just as an example, and the teacher all of a sudden like slaps you across the face or smacks you on the arm. You get this emotional shock that's within you, and that now becomes a deeply ingrained memory. The same thing applies with sugar and all kinds of food that causes these heavy spikes. It's not that it is that the memory is associated with, okay, so hot chocolate, okay, there's the spike, I like this. Or this energy drink, I'm not going to name any, but energy drinks are predominantly sugars. And they're there to give you a temporary fix, a temporary spike that goes on inside the body. Now, that's fundamentally what's happening below the surface. But on a long-term scale, on a long-term basis, our body, we think that we pass, twice a day, maybe, if we regular, urinate out stuff, several times a day. We think that we're getting rid of, mainly storing the carbs, fats, proteins, and all the rest, is because it's not getting the correct source of nutrients. So it starts to lodge slowly. You're starving yourself. Now, in your joints, it starts to wedge inside your joints, and you start to get stiffer. And you go to the doctor and you say, hey, what's wrong? And he says, hey, it's also it's arthritis, it's rheumatoid and what have you. Okay, so doc, what do I do about this? They put you on synthetic medications. They want to give you a plaster. They're not giving you the solution, and the solution is just to cut down. I'm not saying cut it out completely. The reason I'm saying not cut out completely is because you don't want to have those extensive withdrawal symptoms in the beginning. So it's a phased approach that you're working, getting this out of your system. And I think it's very important that we recognize that it's not only the arthritis, it can come in many different forms. Now, in ending, I want to say that on an extreme basis, the body is so intelligent. And I did some research around this the other day. Somebody was talking about the fact that cancer as a tumor is the body's defense mechanism to accumulate all of the toxins in the body into this tumor. Okay. And when we go for biopsy, boop, prick. And now that tumor is leaking those toxins back out and it's causing more harm. So you actually just want to go to the solution immediately. And we know that most oncologists, they say, okay, cut down on your sugars, cut down on your dairies and those kinds of things, and try to live, say, whatever, more keto diets. Let's not block people in by saying plant-based or vegan or whatever the case is. Kiara, you and I say that, hey, we like to call ourselves purists. And the reason for that is because it encompasses a whole lot more. We don't want synthetic medications in our body. We don't want processed sugars and processed salts and things like that inside the body. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. And yes, we can get into a lot more, but there's just the general topic around what it is you asked there, Kiara. Lovely question.
That's wonderful, Ethan. And, you obviously have a lot of experience with that too, and sugar, because growing up, we used to eat a lot of sugar kind of growing up, but I mean, what kid doesn't? But, at the end of the day, when the more knowledge that we get and we experience, the more knowledge we're going to know about what the dangers of sugar are. The same person that I was talking to in the gym basically self-diagnosed himself with ADHD, and, at the same time, he was saying to me, well, I've been slowing down on the cakes and the sweets and the chocolates, and I've been getting more muscle. I picked up more lean muscle mass, and I'm getting more shredded, and I'm being a little bit more focused. And that's very interesting, because these are the significant things that sugar does to you. You self-diagnose, and industry diagnoses you on behalf of the cause, which is sugar, of these illnesses and diseases that have been labeled over the past only really 2, 3, 4 decades. So, guys, if you avoided these things and you stuck to a good, clean, healthy diet that was moderated in all vitamins and minerals, because that's what it is supposed to be. If you guys want to know more about that, then sign up, be in touch with us, and let us know. You guys can book a consult with either Etan, who is a medical astrologer, or myself as a functional biohacking coach. And either of us has extensive knowledge to be able to help you on your journey get and achieve the goals. We also have the tools to help you achieve exactly what you need to live a healthy, optimum life. So make sure to hit those links down below that we leave in the description of this video for you guys. Etan, I'd like to shift a little bit onto some of the sugars, the salt side of things. So, we've spoken about sugar and what sugar can really do, and how explicit these studies are that we get sugar. So sugar-free is definitely a better route, without a doubt. I would suggest being sugar-free, but small doses of things like Etan was referring to, dates, even honey, even though honey is a sugar, thing like honey as an example has positives because it is one of the most nutritional foods on this planet. However, because of its sugar glycemic index, it spikes your blood sugar levels in your body. And the other side of honey, the other positive side of honey, is that it is a form of glucose for the brain, and the majority of energy source that the brain uses is glucose, and obviously that is giving you brain power. And that's why with sugar spikes, you see a sugar spike, and I'm sure we've scared the boots out of you, at the end of the day. Just want to give you a couple last things here, but basically it can harm your weight gain. As we said, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver acid, cavities which are painful and cause other issues, poor sleep. There you see, there's the form of ADHD that I was referring to, mood problems, gout, kidney stones, aging. So, these are all things that you don't want to experience. So, what does salt cause to the body? Okay, too much sodium in the diet can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. So now you see already the similarities of sugar to salt. So, It can also cause calcium losses, and some of which may be pulled from the bones. So most Americans, but this is a study for America, but of course this is across the world really, consume at least 1.5 teaspoons of salt per day, which is about 3,400 milligrams of salt, which contains far more than our body needs. Now, Ethan is going to tell us in a short little moment, a little bit after I finish reading to you the tissue salts. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a little moment. But salt and sodium, salt also known as sodium chloride, is about, which is a tissue salt, 40% of sodium and 60% chloride. Okay, so very, very simple. You get different types of salt. So you get iodized table fine salt, which is approximately 1 teaspoon is worth about 2,300 milligrams. You get kosher salt. Now, that potassium salt is a salt substitute. You can see there that is a good salt substitute because there is 0 milligrams of sodium. However, there is a great dose of potassium, and potassium actually is very highly beneficial to building protein and therefore DNA. We have spoken about that on some of our other videos on our channel. I will leave a link down below for some of those videos. Make sure to go and check those out, guys. Now, the one thing that we didn't actually mention about the sugar side of things is that sugar and fat, as Ethan kind of touched base on, that causes a huge addiction problem in the body and in the brain, and a huge reliability. And industry knows this, and that's why, unfortunately, as nice as ice cream is, that is that exact combination that literally makes people go so wild. And who the heck is not addicted to ice cream? I mean, I'm human. I love ice cream, but I will definitely and undoubtedly not put ice cream in my body that can cause huge detriment to my body. I'm very conscious about that, and generally that's why I would just make my own smoothies using stevia as my extract. So, sodium and health causes cardiovascular disease, chronic kidney disease, osteoporosis, cancer, and foods that have natural salts in it. That's great. That's where you can get enough sodium in your day, is essentially from your food. So signs of deficiency and toxicity in the body can also take place, and this is very important to realize that actually salt can be beneficial to us, but because salt also ages us, causes bloating, causes high blood pressure. I mean, look at this here. You can see here that you get swelling because salt also, even though it dehydrates you, overall, and your organs and your skin, it actually retains water. So pulling the water out of the tissues and the organs and just putting it into void spaces in the body, and hence why you'll start to kind of is a bit of a diuretic, so you'll end up going, to use the toilet a lot. It also doesn't help you sleep well at all if you have too much. It helps you. It makes you feel weak. Your stomach is bothered, and the long-term effects of salt are really that it can weaken your vascular and arterial systems in the body and thin the walls over time. And so can sugar do that. And why would you want to cause that kind of pressure in the body? So, tell us a little bit about actual salt and the differences between salt and tissue salts there, please.
Well, you're talking about sodium. There's a tissue called sodium chloride. It's the Aquarian tissue salt. And, you could get it in liquid form, sodium chloride, chlorine, which is hydrochloric acids. You take these two bottles, you mix them in together, and they activate one another. And you take that before you have your meal. So again, you would talk about stevia, but take this solution also 30 minutes before a meal, or just up to 3 times a day for general health purposes. If you're seeking medical advice or something to that extent, we could guide you in the right direction. So drop a comment below and see if you want to find alternative ways there, because we have many medical professionals we can guide you on too. But the sodium chloride is a tissue salt, and there's a thin sheath that's between our cerebral cortex and the rest of our brain mass. And this basically once a month stimulates sodium chloride naturally. And then it runs down through the vagus nerve, and it's helping cleanse out and nourish the body. And it's actually the Aquarian tissue salt is known as the water bearer. So it cleanses out the body just naturally. And because you're getting the natural tissue salts, it's going to unlock those cells, and those cells are going to be readily able to absorb water better. But more importantly than that, there's a liquid. There's a fourth state of water. We think, okay, liquid, solid, and a gas, but H3O3 or O2 is what you get from fruits, all different types of fruits, watermelon and cucumber being top ones. They have the most liquid in them, and when you consume those are definitely hydrating the body in a gel-like format. But on top of that, when you take Celtic salt or Himalayan salt and you add a pinch of that into your water, so the Himalayan salt has varying amounts of tissue salts in it, minerals, all those kinds of things. It's very rich in minerals, and we're going to put that in our water, and that's going to electrically activate and stimulate that water. So now we have living water. It's charged water, because we're going to stir it. It's going to be charged, because salt, we know, causes electricity. So if we, again, have all of the unnatural salts inside of our body is causing too much friction in our body, too much heat. So too much sugar is causing acidity, which is heat. Too much salt causing friction, causing heat. So again, we're getting this heat happen. Now, it's the body's natural response to go, okay, I want to bring the body into balance, and we call that homeostasis. But a lot of the time, we're not really sitting there. It's just the body attempting to adjust from over alkaline, over acidity. It's just readjusting back there. So sodium chloride is a definite. Potassium sulfides are fantastic. That's the cerebral cortex. That's definitely going to stimulate those tissue salts that are running further down the body, because we say that the pineal gland is the master hormone gland, and that relates to the Aryan part of the constellations. But yeah, not delving too deep into that. Certainly salt does dehydrate the body. And why is that? It's because it's not the correct salts. You're talking about sodium there, Kiara. Like, okay, we get our daily nutritional intake that we can have, but as long as it's from natural sources. But Himalayan salt, particularly, and Celtic salt, they electrify the body, and they run the circuits through the body, and they allow the body to get charged and re-energized. So we, of course, don't want to be taking too much salt, because it will dehydrate us, no matter which form it comes in. But imagine how you feel after a day at the beach, or half a day at the beach. You really are absorbing all of the tissue salts. This might sound like a crazy concept to you, but you in your mother's womb, when you were in your mother's womb and you were going through the gestation period, your mother was breathing, and she was also in the sunlight a lot of the time, and she was absorbing those tissue salts. When we're breathing now, we are absorbing tissue salts that are naturally in the air. So the air is anything but empty. And yes, so the placenta takes those tissue salts and it gifts it onto us. But because we're born 9 months later from the gestation point, we're missing those 3 constellations of tissue salts, and we need to take those in excess. So me as a Capricorn, then Aquarius after, and Pisces, I need to be taking those 3 predominantly. But you get a combination 12 tissue salts, and we'll help that out. You know, people that deal with allergens or hay fever, the heat, you know, So when the time comes when it's spring and you're getting a runny nose and hay fever is coming and you're getting swelled eyes, that's your body's response to say, okay, you have inflammation in the body. So that's a good telltale sign. So how do you cool the body down? And there's a lot of different ways of doing it. And Kiara, I think you hit it, the nail on the head there. Like we get swelling in our body. There's a lot of water retention. And that's also the body's way of saying, oh my gosh, I'm so dehydrated. The water that I'm drinking, I'm going to hang on to. Okay, but it needs to go into the cells. You need to have those go into the cells. And Himalayan salts, Celtic salts, sodium chloride, those kinds of things can help draw it right into the cell over there.
Absolutely. And that is, that is very, very powerful that you've expressed the difference between salts and tissue salts, even though sodium chloride, because sodium chloride is the foundational tissue salt, which the other tissue salts essentially have built their foundations from. Am I correct in saying that, Ethan?
Well, partially, yes. They all have their own roles. Definitely, they all have their own roles. But calcium sulfite, which is Capricorn, that leads calcium, okay, the bones of the body, it's the foundation. But you won't look at it in any other way. Like, get your 12 tissue salts in. For your children that are growing up, like, get it in. And it doesn't have to be a daily rhythm. I know that it's important to keep consistent, but as long as you're getting it in a couple of times a week, that's fantastic. But yeah, rich in minerals, the tissue salts are. So yeah, you can find concentrated versions. Yeah, definitely so.
Thank you. And at the end of the day, you can see here, sodium chloride is about 40% sodium. And 60% chloride. So essentially, it is used in food as a binder and stabilizer. Binder and stabilizer, being very specific there on those words. It is also used as a food preservative against the aging side of things to you. If you guys think of biltong, or in other in other English words, jerky, I think it's called in America.
Beef jerky.
Exactly. Those are all salted to dehydrate and use the salt as a preservative, which slowly matures and ages that meat, so that bacteria can't thrive in the presence of the high salt or sodium. Now, the human body requires a small amount of sodium to conduct nerve impulses. So Ethan was referring to the myelin sheath, which is the the myelin sheath around the central nervous system. That's what sends the electrical conductivity, and that's why he specifically spoke about Himalayan salt. So even though Himalayan salt is still a salt, Himalayan salt has more minerals in it, micro minerals in it, than any of the other salts, and that's why where salt in its entire class is lacking minerals, and in fact leaches get it takes the body through a process where it forces the body to start leaching minerals. You have Himalayan salt, which replenishes some of those minerals. So this is why you get kind of lazy when having too much salt, or relaxed in your food after you've had either sugar or food, because you literally are going through a contraction and relaxation in your muscles, and salt is there to maintain a proper balance of water and minerals in your body. Now, what is the right amount good enough to get from your food? So in other words, do I have to add any further additional salt to my food? No. But I know we are all human, so wherever you do, once or twice a week or whatever, that is okay. Don't feel that guilt of putting salt on your food, but just realize that the less you do use it, the better it is for your body, because you can get those salts and sugars from fruits and vegetables. Very, very simple. And that in itself is where the true nature of sodium and salt actually comes from. Guys, I've enjoyed every last moment of this session. If you guys want to be in touch with Etan, medical astrologer, and be in touch with either of us to have a consult and change your life. So if you're ready to do that, come over to our website, be in touch as well, do what you want, get your first order for 15% off. We've left the link pinned in the comments of this video right there for you. So make sure you're coming over to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, please guys. That would be truly much blessed and appreciated. We would love to share with the community before we close off the reduction in the reasons to reduce sugar and salt in our diets.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Firstly, I'm so grateful to the community for listening in on this, and grateful to you, Kiara, and I'm grateful for the knowledge. You know, it doesn't come from us. You know, it comes from a wide array of different sources, and we just one outlet that's there. But yes, most importantly, you know, people think homeopathic remedies or the natural way is kind of woohoo. But honestly said, that tissue salts are within everything, like anything, your desk that you're looking at, your laptop. And I'm not saying eat your laptop, but I am saying that the foundation is based off of tissue salts within everything. So yeah, explore that more. Be willing to explore it more. I know that there are, you know, hay fever remedies of tissue salts. It's a mix of a couple of different ones. I personally utilized that, and that helped me very much so. I was going through it for about 4 weeks. I was just hectic with pouring down. And yeah, I ended up taking the tissue salts, and it's subsided like, you know, a day or two later, but also within the moment, taking it 3 times a day, it's subsided and came back and subsided. So yeah, the body's response is obviously lacking some stand, or in a stand now, that's there's clogged, congested acidity that's in the body and the mucous membrane. So that's the one thing. And then the second thing, you know, going through this live stream here now, I was thinking, like, over the years I've cleaned my body out more and more and more, and when I invite things that I used to eat back in for a little naughty, my body responds very adversely. And you know, one of the ways is actually having hard mucus in the body. So if I know that you know, I'm having a product, a chocolate or whatever the case is, and it just says sugar in there, but I don't know how much is in there because it's not really clear. Oh my gosh, my body's response is going to say, oh gosh, hard mucus, a little bit of a blocked nose and what have you. So I'm very much grateful for being in that position. And yeah, there's different ways to do it. Fasting is one of them. Cleansing the body, our colonic cleansing just helps flush the system out. So there's many ways in which you can help improve you and your family's life. So we appreciate you being in touch. Enjoy our free 21-day smoothie challenge that's on our website as well. And we're looking forward to seeing you on the next one there. We're going to be launching that soon. So thank you and take care. Really blessed energy to you, Kiara. Thank you too.
And you too, Etan. And once again, thank you to all of the community. We really do appreciate you guys. And of course, please make sure you guys are coming over and subscribing to our channels. Here are our channels, our website links. Come over and check them out. We would love for you guys to be in touch with us and grow with us. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and we do appreciate every single one of you. And we will continue to be here every single Thursday on the SynerChi Sits and talking about different projects. Next week, we're going to have another special guest on the channel, so make sure you hit that notification bell, and we will see you guys then. Until then, have a wonderful, strong